All right, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers? What the fuck buddies? What the fuck nicks? What the fucksters? What the fuckettes? How's it going? I'm Marc Maron. This is my podcast, WTF. Welcome to it. Today is Thursday, if you're downloading and listening on the day it comes out. Today is New Year's Eve. Tomorrow, Friday, the beginning of a new year. It doesn't feel like it usually does it? Yeah, I don't know. You know, I spent a few hours today, a little time yesterday, trying to figure out, what to say. Do I have a list? Is there a top 10 of 2020? Is there a countdown of bullshit this, fuck that, this or that? What's trending now? What are my thoughts on? What are my likes and dislikes? 2020. What do we do with it? I think for a lot of us, there's no reason to necessarily get involved with the pop culture rationalization or distraction or relief attempts at contextualizing this last year on an entertainment level, on a recipe level, on a pop culture level at all, is there? Really? I mean, a lot of it helped us get by, but all of it seems like a blur, like a smear, like a haze. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from 2020. I mean, I've never felt like I feel now for a lot of different reasons, and I assume many of us have had probably the worst year of our life. My body and brain is exhausted from distributing cortisol. I'm worn out on a thyroid level from 4 years of the Pig King, Chaos Master, and everything that came along with that. I'm exhausted from almost a year of COVID and belligerent irresponsibility on behalf of so many people, childishness. I'm exhausted by the fact that now, after 4 years and a plague, I know exactly who my fellow Americans are and what many of them are made of. I'm exhausted because I know who I am more clearly now because of grief, COVID, isolation, Trump, panic, wildfires. It's been a fucked up year, man. I mean, I know tangibly what happened to me. I know that I had to put 2 cats down this year. I know that someone I loved a lot basically died in my house. I mean, I know those things happened. I know the plague came. I know how it was handled from the top down, from my neighbor down, from across the street down. And I know all of us have had a difficult time. And I want to feel optimistic. I want to feel hopeful. I want to take this opportunity like we do every year to lie to ourselves that this one's going to be a good one. I don't know about you, but you know what I'm hoping for? Some fucking relief. Just a little relief would be great. Sure, we got a little relief in early November, but I mean tangible. Walk outside, look around kind of relief. That's my hope for a new year. I'm sorry you've all gone through what you're going through and what you've went through this year. I am. My empathy can only reach so much, but I do get a sense that some people had a much worse time than me. A lot of people still having a bad time. I'm grateful that I have some things in place that enable me not to lose my mind or wallow in a sadness that could have proven, chronic, disastrous. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for the audience. I'm grateful for the people who reached out to me during this last year. I've said this before. I don't know. I guess I'll say it again. I have a lot to be grateful for and a lot to be sad about. And not unlike anybody else, a lot to be afraid of. And we move forward. I want you to have a better new year. I'd love it if you had a happy one. But I don't know what you're hoping for. But I'm hoping for relief. Just a little bit of relief would be so welcome. Just a little bit of, okay. It's okay. It's going to be okay. That's my hope for this new year, for some relief, and that it's going to be okay. Not great, not even necessarily better. I just want some relief, and I want things to be okay, and I'd like us to be able to see past right now again, a little bit, with a little bit of excitement, hope. I don't know, man. That's a stretch. A lot of things have been laid bare. But my hope for us all is that if you can find some gratitude, find it. If you can find some way to frame the last year positively, maybe because of what you now know about yourself, about your family, the connections you made, the love that you found, how you took care of people, how you took care of yourself, how people took care of you. You can find it. Good. Be grateful for that. I hope for a little relief for us all, a little relief. And maybe just occasionally the ability to go like, tomorrow's going to be okay. Tomorrow's going to be good. I can't wait till tomorrow. So today on the show, David Ritz. I talked to David Ritz. Now, David Ritz is one of the most prolific biographers of music industry stars. He's the guy. He wrote biographies on Marvin Gaye, Jimmy Scott, Aretha Franklin. He's co-written or ghost-written biographies for dozens more. Ray Charles, B.B. King, Etta James, Janet Jackson, Buddy Guy, Don Rickles. He co-wrote the autobiography of Atlantic Records producer Jerry Wexler, which is how I got hooked up with him when I played Wexler in the movie Respect. He's also written his own interesting autobiography called The God Groove, a blues journey to faith. This is not your average Jewish guy's story. I just found him to be an interesting guy who's been through some interesting things, and he's met a lot of amazing people, and he's gone through a journey of his own. And I thought I would talk to him. Since you're a listener of podcasts, you've probably heard of Audible. Obviously, we've had Audible as a sponsor for more than 10 years. But here's something you might not know. You can now find and follow WTF on Audible along with hundreds of thousands of other podcasts, all in the Audible app and all free. No membership, no credit card needed. For over 25 years, Audible has been the leading provider of audiobooks and all kinds of spoken word entertainment. And podcasts are a big part of what people are listening to for information, inspiration, and entertainment. Now you can find them all in one place. So get WTF along with other popular shows by searching for the show in the Audible app. While you're there, browse around and maybe you'll find some new favorites. Go to audible.com/pods or text PODS, that's PODS, to 500-500 so you can download the Audible app and follow us there. That's audible.com/pods or text PODS to 500-500. So, talking to David Ritz is a bit of a musical history, and he definitely has some insight through all his experience into some of the great artists of our times. You can find links to all of his work at Ritz, R-I-T-Z, Rights.com, ritzrights.com. This is me talking to David Ritz. Nice to see you, David. I know we talked once a while back, and you helped me out a bit with Jerry Wexler, your friend.
How did that go by the way, I sort of meant to call you and ask you, and I didn't ever. Did you enjoy the process?
Yeah, I did. And having read your book about Jerry was very helpful, and then talking to you a bit about Aretha and a bit about Wexler was helpful, and I think the director was very happy with my performance. But I think that ultimately, the Wexler you describe, in the book that you wrote with him, and also in your book, The God Groove, was probably a deeper dude than the one you're going to see in the movie.
Well, because it isn't his movie, it's hers.
Exactly.
So you can't go that deep, I mean, you don't have time, and he's incredibly complicated, and, You're incredibly
complicated. I got to be honest with you. I had this book of yours sitting around for a long time. And, and I know you've written books about, a lot of different people.
Right.
But just the other day, I'm like, well, I'm going to talk to him. I don't like really reading books that people have written before I talk to them because it makes me lead too much. So that being said, I read most of it. So I did not read the end. So we're going to have to get to that naturally. But the God Groove, your book, A Blues Journey to Faith, is a great book. It's a ballsy book. And I don't say this about much, but I think a lot of it has to do with the things we have in common. Mm-hmm. I found not just a Jewish thing, not just a narcissistic father thing, not just the black culture, black music thing. But maybe there's a lot of things that we have in common. But like I said, I don't know how it ends. I assume that you have Jesus in your heart now. I think, was that where we were going?
Well, yeah, no, I definitely believe in Jesus. And that's interesting because that's the other thing we have in common. I don't mean we have in common that particular word Jesus, but I think we both come out of the 12 steps. And that's how I got into Christianity, through the 12 steps. And the irony is that when I first went into one of 3 different 12-step programs that I've been in for the last 30 years, if they had told me you had to believe in Jesus, I would have gone the other way. So part of the genius of the program to me is to re-language Christianity, to take the Christian part out of it.
Right. It's structural Christianity without Jesus.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. I get it. It's the deeds without the dude.
Yeah, but the deeds to me are the dudes. I mean, in other words, the deeds are the dude in that. First of all, I don't care what anybody calls anything. I think our job as we communicate with other people is to be sensitive to their cultural history with certain words. So I won't use certain words with certain people because I know it will kind of trigger them. Therefore, it's only out of ego that I have to tell you, you have to use the word Jesus. You don't have to use any word. I mean, to me, it's about the brotherhood and the sisterhood of the 12 Steps program is all about sort of allowing a spirit to wash over us, to hear it from each other, and to heal us as a result of embracing the Spirit, period. What you go on and call that Spirit, what ideology or theology you adapt, I don't care. So I am not at all evangelical, and I don't like proselytizing because I believe that proselytizing comes out of ego. You've got to use my language.
No, I get it. So you're saying that what you got to get hip to is God consciousness, and either you're going to tap in or you're not.
Or don't even call it God consciousness if the word God is abhorrent to you.
If the Spirit moves you, whatever. Higher power, I get it. But what's interesting to me is that, you're about as Jewish as you can be.
I agree.
Really. And, it seems to me that you were born. Where were you born?
I was born in New York and lived there until I was about 5, and moved to Newark, New Jersey, and lived there till I was about 12. And then we went to Charleston, South Carolina for a year, and then I went to Texas, where I went to high school and college. My old man was a traveling salesman.
Traveling salesman. But they come from, like, your grandparents were the immigrants?
Yeah. Eastern European, the traditional thing.
What part? Did you ever track it?
Nope.